Good morning. Welcome back. Session 25. There's my dog barking at nothing as usual. Archie, quiet, dude. It's just me. Dog used to be beautifully quiet, and now he barks at nothing all the time. Goofball. Um, Anyways, where was I? Welcome back. I had a session 24 yesterday. It was about 10 minutes long. I might repost it. My daughter came running in right at the end in just underwear. Well, she had a long shirt on, but I just don't know. Like, I don't really care, but I don't really want to get a bunch of flack from people who think they know what's best for my kid about being on the internet. I tend to be one of those people that just doesn't, I don't presume to know where the world is going in the next few years, man. With this AI stuff and social media, I don't know what the world is going to look like by the time my daughter is old enough to care about whether or not she was on the internet. There's a mountain biking channel that I watched where the guy has a 3-year-old and he had like an emoji covering his daughter's head while she was riding her bike, and like I just don't really know that that's necessary. But I also there's creepers out there, I suppose. I don't want to like feed anyone's uh, feed anyone's creep. So I might just edit that out and repost that video. Just for her sake. But again, it was hardly anything. So you guys might be like, oh, that was nothing. Or you'd be like, you're a terrible parent. I don't know. Anyways, so yesterday in that session, we recorded some new kick and snare. I haven't even listened to it yet. I played it real quick, mic'd everything up, and then she came in and started moving microphones, and I jumped on and said, let's call that good, and we'll work on it later. So we did some new grooves for the chorus on the kick and snare. And what we're going to do real quick is edit those and see if we like them. And then we might break and have another session because my wife took the kids to the park. So I am home alone for once. And if Archie can keep his mouth shut, stop barking, we're going to have some nice quiet. And what I want to get done today is record the cymbals again in the chorus and start to really finish that section up. And we'll start, figuring out mic positioning and EQ and compression and stuff. Because what we're going to try to do is capture one crash cymbal on the hi-hat mic, and then the other crash cymbal on the ride mic, and then we'll have nice panning. So your ride will be over here, hi-hat over here, and you'll have one crash on each, which will give you a nice stereo feel as things are happening. And it'll be the same way with the toms when we get to those. So let's jump in right now and hear what we did yesterday. I think we can probably take that out and drag this over. And then we can probably do a little detect transients right away. Oops, do 3. And we'll just get all these. Uh-oh. Oops. All right, let's just, before we do that, let's just hear what we did. All right, let's strip some silence from that first and foremost. I might end up re-recording it because I already don't like the levels, like the volume. And I've never actually tuned up that snare, so I kind of wish it was a little tighter than it is. But you know what? Let's just work with this for now, and that way we'll have a tighter track to play with when it's time. Okay, so loop this. And then on the other channel, we have a kick. Yeah, that's our kick there. Oops. That. Drag that back. Oh, that's strange. Okay, strip silence to the kick here. I don't know what happened to this first part, but I kind of know where these kicks go, so. Kick sounds a little better. So let's just see what this sounds like if I don't try to edit this at all. Let's see if we can make it kind of just fit. I feel like if we get like the transients close enough here, the main, like the main ones, like this one could probably come back just a tad, crossfade that. That one's pretty close to being on. It needs to be right. Ah, it's a little early. Noise there. Hear that? That's a weird kick. Get that out of there. Just grab this one for now. All right, so here's the next part. Changed up this groove. Let's see here. strip silence, apply. Now, the only thing with this change is I like the new drum groove, but the only thing is it might affect that new bass part that we wrote. So we'll have to see. Okay, so we're gonna just drag these up right away. I don't even know why I do takes with the drums, man. It's just like you just end up moving them around anyways. Like I don't know about the take system unless you're really focused on one thing at a time. The take system seems to get like overwhelming. Suddenly you have a ton of things to go through. And you like I'm looking at all these tracks just going like, I just don't even want to deal with that. So the drum beat that we're going for, the groove I came up with is doom doom da doom doom da da doom doom da doom da da. That's what we're going for in the second half here. So we gotta get these kicks on. I'm sure there's a couple extra ones in there. So I was telling my wife last night, so I was having my first bout of doubt about the channel, and I'm not going to quit or anything. I assured her that. I don't feel that at all, but I just feel a little bit like, is this sustainable? Is this boring? And you know what? The important thing to remember is that this is a process as well. Never broadcasted anything in my life. Never did anything like this. So expecting myself to have it down perfectly is unrealistic. So I just got to stick with it and just trust that in time I'll make some cool changes to the format. I'm thinking about your guys' time. I don't want you to sit here in silence and be bored. I want you to be interested in the process. I want you to be able to learn something. That may take a little while before I start acting like I'm super confident in everything I do. Because, I browse YouTube. I'm not the type of guy that you're ever going to hear things like, you're EQing wrong, do it my way. Like I see these titles on YouTube, you don't know how to use compression. You're never going to hear that from me, man. I'm not certain enough about anything in life to be able to tell you that I know better than you on much of anything, that's not what this channel is going to be about. So if that's what you're looking for, it's like on some level, everyone's acting a little bit, the fake it till you make it phenomena is real. I even thought about going with the alter ego. There's some books out that say if you're struggling to kind of make it on your own, adopt an alter ego that isn't afraid of the things you're afraid of. And I thought about it. And I just decided that number one, if you really wanted to stick to the alter ego, someone's going to dox you and figure out who you are. And number two, it's just a manipulation of the mind. And sometimes I like to just try to see through those things and just go, okay, well, if you're going to manipulate your mind and you're already aware that that's what you're doing, then why don't you just like skip that step, and just see like, look what I'm having to do to get something done. Hey, brain, can we just like Can we just work together on this? So, but anyways, yeah, the point is that there's a lot of small detailed stuff that needs to happen in music production, and it might not be that fun, but that's the thing, is I don't want this channel to be one of those channels where you get on and I say, hey, we're going to work on this together. If you follow my steps, you're going to sound like me. But secretly, I got a whole mastering chain on the bus that I'm not going to tell you about. So when you actually you mimic something I do, you're going, why am I not getting the same result? Because I'm hiding things. There's nothing to hide here. I'm not a pro, so I'm not giving away any secrets right now. I'm learning, and you can learn along with me. So I just got to remember that that's at the core. That's what this channel's about. Okay, so I know some kicks are off there. Let's find our snare takes for that. Man, our snare just did not come in loud enough. We might have to re-record that. That's okay though. Let's do strip silence. Okay. I'm gonna move this up one spot. See, that is, I don't know. It's like I still see the allure of working with MIDI data, because that's essentially what I'm doing here with dragging these samples around. But I just, like I've said in the past, the whole point is to avoid having to manipulate velocities. I don't like doing that. It's not musical to me to sit and mess around with little rectangles on the MIDI map. It just is, it doesn't work for me. So if it happens, if we get to a point where I need to have 10 different perfectly recorded kicks and we just interchange them throughout the song, we can do it that way. Potentially, there's lots of ways to achieve what we're going for here. I don't know the best way yet. We're trying to find it. And then when we do, we're hoping that it's going to make the process for the next song smoother. We'll practice on this song. We'll come up with some ways. We'll try it out on the next song and see how fast we can produce another song. If we start to run into speed bumps or things that are hindering our just kind of the progression of our work, then we'll make adjustments then. So. Okay, so now I'm starting to hear it. There you go. Now you can hear it there. Just driving me nuts. Gotta get this mix window out of here. Oh, man, too many screens. Like that second one did, instead of the little double snare, da da. Did a kick on the second one. That's some nice variation. You know, I'm looking for that variation in the performance, so it just doesn't sound like we just do 4 bars and then loop it through the whole thing, even though sometimes we do, honestly. All right, so that's pretty much our part there. Let's hear how that sounds. Actually, let's get rid of all this. We're gonna do something different. It's too much. Look at all that. All those snare hits to decide which is the best one. That's too time consuming because my brain is I'm the type where I feel like I need to hear every one. How do I know that I got the best if I didn't listen to every single one? And rather than fight that whole battle, I just eliminate that dilemma by just jumping past it, and we'll come up with a way that seems less daunting to me, because that's essentially what it boils down to. Is I just start to get this daunting feeling, and then I want to take shortcuts, and then when I take shortcuts I do things wrong. So yeah. That sounded pretty cool, man. What do you think? And so another funny just quirk of mine is sometimes I'll get a piece of information and then suddenly it becomes like the law of the land for me, and I'll just jump straight to the point of what I mean. So I really enjoy that Rob Beatdown Brown drum channel. Been watching a ton of his stuff just for the heck of it. Even though I'm really not getting to practice drums as much as I wish I could and this and that, I still watch his channel, and because I appreciate his opinion. He's a chill guy, and he seems to have a lot of good info. I've been trying to drum along with some of his practice exercises, and it's, oh my God, it's dreadful. He did one video where it's 4,800 doubles, da 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 da, and I couldn't keep up for 10 seconds. So I got a ways to go. But he said, I'm gonna forget what I was talking about. No, it'll come back to me. He said beginners often just revert to eighth notes. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm always playing eighth notes on the hi-hats. They're going to know I'm a beginner. I got to mix it up. So you see this new drum beat is because it's going to work great with kind of a quarter note hi-hat pattern instead. So it's just, just annoying little personality quirks, man, that, I'm trying to just learn to work with them rather than get discouraged and hate myself over them. All right, so we're gonna just double that up for the sake of I feel like that sounded pretty tight and pretty cool. The biggest thing is, can you dance to it? Yeah, you can dance to it. I could get down to that. All right, so trying to decide what is best to do next and the best kind of procedure for doing it. What is all this, man? This is crazy. Look at all that garbage. crazy. It's just unnecessary to have all that. All right. Let's go back to the beginning of the songs. Let's just kind of regroup here. We'll listen through to the bridge there and kind of start to think about what we're going to do on cymbals as well. We added one note on that new bass line. That little note just, it adds a lot. Just one little note difference. So I already know that I don't like the snare there the second time. That's really an opening thing, and we talked about that maybe 2 or 3 videos ago. If we need to decide, do we want to break up? If you gotta think about, okay, people have been waiting, they're getting down now. Do you want to stop them, or do you want them to let them keep going? And I feel like when you go back to something that intricate, where there's not so much of a beat, that it's going to take away from the flow of that song, especially when you consider the fact that whatever you would call this music genre wise, I have no idea what you would call this. I've been thinking about that for years. I don't necessarily have extended periods of danceable stuff built in, except for usually my kind of 4 on the floor buildups. You will hear a lot of those in my songs. And so we have to make sure that we're looking for opportunities to bring that element into the mix and keep it to where you can get down and boogie to it. So we'll start that chorus again and see what I mean. Like, we gotta figure out how to keep this beat going right here. See that the hi-hat kind of keeps you going, even though the snare and the kick go back. I'm not sure if you guys were on camera when I added that. I think it was just after one of the sessions. I decided these snares were coming in late, especially since I kind of faded in to take away some of the pop in them. These are probably going to be the cross sticks on the rim. I'm not sitting next to the drums, but you know what I mean, like where you tap the rim and the stick is kind of flat on the drum. I think it's cross sticking is what it's called. That's probably going to be cross sticking right there anyways, but I was trying to gain that effect by just quieting the initial transient of the snare. But I added that little and then right here I added a bigger verb to really make this part stand out. So we can call this snare 3 big verb, snare 2, we'll call it X stick delay. And then 2 videos ago, right at the end, we were listening to the song one last time through, and then I started messing around with things. And what we did if you remember, I was like, on one of the videos for that transition in the bridge part 2. So what we did is moved, instead of these ring outs being on that weird Corey Wong funky channel, we just kept it going on this standard kind of distortion channel, and it made it a much smoother transition. It was kind of weird to go back to those chords. So the only thing we got to do here is re-record this one, because something happened where just hear that? It's kind of wow, 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 wow. I don't know why that happens, but I don't like it. And we'll just do a punch in and get one new chord there. So, and that fill needs to change. And then, so I feel like the drums should maybe stop there. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. All right, well, we got some stuff done there. We cleaned that up. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to end this session for the sake of trying to get the video duration down and more focused on one thing, one objective per session when we can. I think it'll just make the catalog of things to sift through, like the playlist, a little easier to navigate, and people can go where they want and hear what they want to hear. So we'll call this kick and snare in the chorus, call it good. And then when I see you back in 5 minutes, I think we're going to mic up these cymbals and try to get some crashes and start to feel out what we're going to do with some of these crash cymbals throughout. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. If you guys are leaving this session and this is your last one, thank you so much for hanging out. Like and subscribe the video, the channel, all that stuff. Consider becoming a Patreon so that I can justify this operation to my wife and not go get another part-time job. That'd be rad. We'll see you guys back in a little bit. Have a great day.